The news, good evening. The Chief Executive Officer of the Anti-Corruption Commission has said that the Commission cannot be dissolved as it is an independent body established under an international treaty with the UN. Mrs. May de Silva was commenting on the statement made by President Wavel Ramkalawan in his State of the Nation address last week. However, she welcomed the announcement that more resources would be made available to the Commission.
Welcome the President's remarks on ACCS getting more funds and for us to be able to recruit the specialist workers to carry out our investigations in a more timely and effective manner. But one area where he has given an ultimatum to ACCS to say if we do not deliver on cases, in particular by the end of 2021, maybe the Commission will not be there anymore. I think we need to be aware that the Seychelles has signed the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, and this is an international treaty and the only legally binding international treaty. So the Commission should be an independent and neutral entity. And if I don't perform, yes, I will step aside. But I think the institution should stay.
And how does the ACCS plan to deliver?
I think with the strengthening of the team, more investigators and specialist workers, this will give us we will have the tools then to be able to work in a more effective way. So we will strengthen that team and then start delivering, and we will be sending more cases, some cases for prosecution. Before the end of the year, you will see more cases.
And Seychelles is ranked 27th amongst 180 countries with 66 points on the Corruption Perception Index for 2020. The ranking is the initiative of Transparency International, which is based in Berlin, Germany. Seychelles has maintained the 66 points for the third consecutive year. The chairman of Transparency Initiative Seychelles, Christol Shetty, says that ranking is not surprising as nothing much has happened since the last one.
For the Economics Intelligence Unit, they investigate about the procedures and accountabilities of allocation of public funds. And Seychelles has fared quite well, which is the second highest mark for that. And one of, I think, maybe FPSC has played a role in this, the allocation of public funds. And then we have the Global Inside Country Risk, which this entails about how if companies will face corruption when doing business in Seychelles. Again, Seychelles has fared quite well. Where we have not fared well is about the varieties of democracy, political corruption. I think they feel there is an issue in this area. And then in regards to World Economic Forum, which these ones, they assess about the import and export and about the false document that people use when they do import and export, and about the tax, annual tax. And this has been reflected during the course of the pandemic with the FE4JR. It was evident, it was on the news that many companies they have not been paying their tax. And this, I think, may have had an effect on our rating. Therefore, it means that we could have done better, okay? Because our aim is to do much better, even maybe among the top countries who come out first in the coming years.
The central bank governor has warned that for the next 6 months, things will be very tight in the country due to the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Carolina Bell issued the warning during the central bank's press conference this morning.
The central bank's message is that everyone must consider of what is happening abroad and the consequences for Seychelles. and domestically the spread of COVID-19 and health restrictions that are affecting economic activities. Governor Abel adds that in the short term, the tourism industry is the key component for relaunching the economy. And as long as it doesn't get back on its feet, people will have to readjust to many things. She points out that 2021 could be more difficult than last year, and so people must put aside some savings until the situation improves. They must align their expectations to the reality of today. They must reflect on what might happen in the near future, such as a salary reduction, loss of employment, if government will be able to raise the money it needs for its expenses this year, and its ability to borrow.
A new legal ruling is adding pressure on the British government to relinquish sovereignty of Chagos, which might allow Chagosians, including those living here, to return to their homeland. A United Nations tribunal on maritime law has issued a judgment that supports a previous ruling by the international courts and the UN General Assembly.
The battle over who owns Chagos has intensified with the ruling from the UN's International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. It says Britain must hand the islands back, but the UK says it still has no doubt over its right to retain sovereignty of the archipelago, which is strategically important. The latest ruling has been welcomed by the Mauritian Prime Minister Pravin Jugnauth, who's pursuing Port-Louis' claim. However, the spokesman for Chagosians in Seychelles says self-determination for the Chagos community is ultimately paramount. In a statement, Pierre Prosper said the UK must include Chagosian self-determination under a Mauritian flag in the sovereignty transfer document. The UN must back our aspirations and impose on Mauritius to recognise our interests as a people. We do not want to be diluted among other Mauritians. This will further weaken our identity and interests over the islands.
President Wavel Ramkalawan has sent a message of solidarity to the Mozambican President Felipe Nyusi following the impacts caused by the tropical cyclone Eloise across Mozambique.
On Sunday,
He said that it was with great sadness that he learned of the devastating impacts caused by the tropical cyclone across Mozambique, claiming many lives and leaving behind a trail of destruction and unimaginable trauma. President Ramkalawan, on behalf of the government and people of Seychelles, extended a message of sympathy and solidarity to the Mozambican people during this most challenging time. Such horrendous occurrences are sad reminders of the disastrous impacts of climate change on our most vulnerable African nations, he said. Our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Mozambique during this difficult period, he concluded. And with this, we end this news summary. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a very pleasant evening.